Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Dorothy Holmes, and I'll be serving as your worship associate this morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Savannah. Our minister, our beloved minister, Reverend Lisa Day, is our worship leader this morning. Our worship, religious education, and covenant group theme for December is
Practice of presence.
the practice of presence. Okay. Here at the UU Church of Savannah, we are working to build a diverse, multicultural, and beloved community. We celebrate the presence and participation of people of all races, genders, sexual orientations, abilities, and ethnic and national origins. We warmly welcome you on YouTube and on site, whoever you know yourself to be and wherever you are on your journey. If you're visiting with us this morning and you would like to introduce yourself, please rise or raise your hand. Our usher, Tish, will bring a microphone. As part of our commitment to accessibility, we use microphones whenever anyone speaks, no matter how booming their voice, so that everyone in the sanctuary and watching on YouTube can hear. Are there any visitors on this side of the sanctuary?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sheila Puffer. I'm from the Unitarian Church in Winchester, Massachusetts. I'm thrilled to be at the Jingle Bell Church for Christmas time. And Medford, Massachusetts, right next door to Winchester, is where Pierpont was born.
Anyone else on this side of the church who would like to be welcomed at the congregation? Anyone on this side?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Linda Aphrodite. Me and my wife moved down here from New York. I was part of the UU up in Kingston, New York, after I moved out of the city to open a bookstore upstate New York. I love being down here. I live about a half an hour away south, but I'm so very honored to finally get here for the first time. Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Tish. If you are looking for a new faith community, we encourage you to visit several times to get a feel for our worship style and our approach to matters of faith and religion. It's good to have all of you with us. Please join us in Ron Hall for refreshments following the service. You'll find Ron Hall in the next building by following the crowd through this door over here, or the main doors, or, of course, you may ask an usher. After the story for all ages and after the offering, we sing a short response. The lyrics are printed in the order of service. There are 2 cards in the pew back in front of you to help us gather information for the good of our community. Use the QR code on the Rainbow Chalice card to sign up for our newsletter and to receive a welcome letter from our minister, or, if you prefer, fill the card out by hand. The card with the red heart and chalice is there to share a joy or sorrow. If you fill out either of these cards, please put them in the collection plate as it comes around. Church announcements are emailed to members and friends on Tuesdays and Fridays. Check your email for complete details about all of the announcements this week, including but not limited to the following. Please join us here in the sanctuary on Christmas Eve for our not-to-be-missed Christmas Eve service. That's on Tuesday, December 24th at 7 p.m. Unfortunately, that service will not be live streamed, so come out and be with us. Do mark your calendars also for the Martin Luther King Day concert here at the church on Monday, January 20th at 2 p.m. A little tip, come early because it's always full to the brim. With the lighting of our chalice, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, we enter into sacred time. Our chalice lighter this morning is Martha Weaver. The chalice lighting words are taken from The Hill We Climb by the first National Youth Poet Laureate of the United States, Amanda Gorman. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it, for there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. This year, our Advent candles are being lit by families and individuals who have become members of the church in the past year. Today's candle lighter is Cindy Copeland, who signed the book after several years of participation in our choir and other church activities. Our candle lighting words for this fourth week of Advent, with its theme of love, comes from Robert Creeley. Love comes quietly, finally, drops about me, on me, in the old ways. What I did, I know, thinking myself able to go, alone all the way. May love awaken us again and again and again to the astonishing reality that we are neither required nor even able to go alone all the way through life.
In Advent, we put all our hope in the sacred blackness of a womb. As we wait, we remind ourselves that darkness, which is too often reduced to a trite symbol for sin and death, in fact has the unique capacity to bear the divine. In Advent, we reclaim the holy dark. Come, let us worship together. Will you rise in spirit or in body for our hymn, number 248, Oh, We Believe in Christmas. It's time now for our story. Anyone who would like to see the pictures may come forward. Hi. Is this your first time here? Okay. If you want to go to Sunday school with these kids and with Nancy after the story, you're welcome to do that, but you're also welcome to stay with your family. Our story this morning is called Santa's Husband. This is Santa Claus. This is Santa Claus's husband, Mr. Claus. They are married. Santa and his husband live together at the North Pole at the very top of the world. They love keeping each other cozy in the cold, but each year it seems to get a little warmer. Santa's husband helps Santa with all the hard work that makes Christmas happen, from making a list and checking it twice, to feeding Anta's 8 tiny reindeer, plus Rudolph, who has special dietary restrictions to keep his nose shiny and bright, to helping Santa negotiate labor disputes with the elves in his workshop. They have a spectacular dental plan. Santa is so busy during Christmas time that sometimes his husband, Mr. Claus, even helps him out by sitting in for him at the mall and asking all the good children what they'd like for Christmas this year. Some folks get confused and say that this is Santa Claus himself, but those people are mistaken. It's Santa's husband. Santa and his husband have been married in their hearts for a long time, but it wasn't official yet. So it was a big day when they finally tied the knot. Everyone was there, from Rudolph to Frosty to Parson Brown. Even a few celebrities showed up. Like any married couple, they have their disagreements, but they always manage to kiss and make up, usually over a plate of milk and cookies. Some angry people on TV will tell you that this isn't what Santa Claus looks like, or that Santa Claus doesn't even have a husband. But people have imagined Santa Claus hundreds of different ways over the years. Who is anyone to say what the real Santa looks like? Maybe Santa Claus can come in all shapes and colors and sizes. There's even an elephant Santa there. Just like the families that Santa Claus visits all over the world. But as long as children believe in the magic of Christmas, there will always be a Santa Claus. And as long as there is a Santa Claus, he will have a man waiting for him at home who loves him. Also, Santa's husband's name is David. Thank you for listening. We will sing you On Your Way to Religious Education.
To donate via debit or credit card, please use the QR code on the back of the order of service, or go to www.savannah.org and click the donate button. Mailed checks are always also welcome. As you prepare to give, I ask you to remember the chalice lighting words. So, as you see light and recognize that you are light, let that light inspire you to give as generously as you can to support the good works of this church. Your offerings will now be gratefully received. I have a personal sorrow and joy, all wrapped up in one, to share. 6 years ago yesterday, my dearly beloved husband of 33 and a half years, Raymond Lee Miller Holmes, left this earthly plane. That fact is a personal, permanent, sorrowful loss, but just as permanent is the joy and light he brought to my world and to many others. I am grateful. Let us hold all our joys and sorrows, spoken and unspoken, in our hearts as we join together in the responsive reading found in your order of service. Sorrow is everywhere. Yet joy is reborn. As we mourn together, so we celebrate together and offer thanks that we are not alone. So may it be now and in all the days to come.
Jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la. See the blazing Yule before us, fa la 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus, fa la 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 la. Follow me in merry measure, fa la 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 la. While I tell of Yuletide treasure, fa la 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 la. Fast away the old year passes, fa la 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 la. Hail the new year, lads and lasses, fa la 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 la. Sing we joyous all together, fa la 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 la. Heedless of the wind and weather, fa la 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 la.
Let us enter into a spirit of meditation. The words of meditation this morning from Unitarian Universalist minister David Breeden. The solstice teaches us that darkness comes, that darkness goes. The solstice teaches us that light comes, that light goes. The solstice teaches us calmly, silently, to be calm, silent, learning. The solstice teaches us as we circle the sun that everything flies. The solstice teaches us to remember the dark, to remember the light, to remember time, the seasons, and love as we circle the sun. Amen. I got a sneak peek on Wednesday evening of all the music the choir is preparing for our Christmas Eve service. And I will echo what Dorothy said, you don't want to miss it. Our first reading this morning from Susan Cooper, The Shortest Day. So the shortest day came and the year died, and everywhere down the centuries of the snow-white world came people singing, dancing to drive the dark away. They lighted candles in the winter trees. They hung their homes with evergreen. They burned beseeching fires all night long to keep the year alive. And when the New Year's sunshine blazed awake, they shouted, reveling. Through all the frosty ages, you can hear them echoing behind us. Listen. All the long echoes sing the same delight this shortest day, as promise wakens in the sleeping land. They carol, feast, give thanks, and dearly love their friends and hope for peace. And so do we here, now, this year and every year. Welcome, Yule. A poem, You Darkness, by Rainer Maria Rilke. You, darkness that I come from, I love you more than all the fires that fence in the world. For the fire makes a circle of light for everyone, and then no one outside learns of you. But the darkness pulls in everything, shapes and fires, animals and myself, how easily it gathers them, powers and people. And it is possible a great presence is moving near me. I have faith in nights. And finally, from Wendell Berry, to know the dark. To go in the dark with a light is to know the light. To know the dark, go dark. Go without sight and find that the dark too blooms and sings and is traveled by dark feet and dark wings. Here end the readings. In their rehearsals this week, our eagle-eyed choir realized that we have in our pews 2 different editions of the Gray Hymnal, and in the second verse of our next hymn, 2 different words. We have decided to go with garden spider instead of sudden spider. So if you have a hymnal that says sudden spider, try to remember to sing garden. Will you please rise in body or in spirit for our hymn number 54, Now Light is Less. In a poem we sometimes read on Christmas Eve, though not this year, Carl Sandburg asks, "Shall we look up now at stars in winter and call them always sweeter friends, because this story of a mother and a child never is told with the stars left out?" It's a question that points to the power of presence in the story of the Nativity, the presence of the star. The star appears in the Gospel of Matthew in the verses that recount the journey and arrival of the Magi, or the Wise One, or the kings, the visitors from the east. They stop in Jerusalem asking for the one born King of the Jews, saying they observed his star in the east. After a conversation with Herod, they continue their journey, following the star until it stops over the place where the child is, the storied stable in the condensed timeline of the narrative. The presence of the star in this part of the story has meant that it has appeared in song and poetry and visual images of the season ever after, and still does today, nearly 2 millennia after the setting of the story, for the story wasn't immediately written down and gathered into the canon of Christianity. This year I'm taking a cue from Sandburg, but cherished and lovely as the star is, I'm asking a different question, or maybe it's the same question from a different perspective. Shouldn't we also always call the darkness a sweeter friend? Because the story of a mother and a child never is told with the dark night left out. What, to take it a step further, if we were to consider darkness holy? Because this story takes place at night. Well, to a degree, of course, we do consider the night holy, at least that night. We sing, "O Holy Night," and "Silent Night, Holy Night," and all the countless poetic, musical, and visual representations of the Star of Bethlehem or the Christmas star, of necessity also mention or depict darkness of a night sky, because, as that prominent American theologian Arlo Guthrie is said to have said, you can't have a light without a dark to stick it in. But despite this complementary relationship between darkness and stars, we more often honor the stars, not simply in our poetry and song and our artwork, but also with our lived and spontaneous awe than we do the night. This is true regardless of the season. We wish upon stars. We drive away from city light pollution whenever a meteor shower is expected in order to better see the light show. We call celebrities stars. We use a star rating system for restaurants and movies and mobile apps. The night is usually only a foil, just a place to stick the light of the star. Yet darkness, particularly the darkness of the night, is as much a presence in the story of the Nativity as the star, and even as the human characters and the angels and the animals gathered at the manger and the sheep in the fields. The night, the darkness adds depth and poignancy to the tale. The night makes no room at the inn even less friendly, less hospitable, less welcoming of the couple who have traveled to Bethlehem as required by law and are expecting a birth imminently. But the night, the darkness also makes the stable cozier, more protective, more intimate. We imagine, or at least I do, having seen hundreds of nativity scenes, the small family, the animals, the visitors in a golden glow, not threatened by darkness, but wrapped in it as in a protective cloak. Rather than endangering the new life and those who witnessed and paid homage to it, the dark night cradles them all. Many years ago, a Unitarian Universalist minister wrote in a December newsletter column, "If you can't be the star this year, be the night." I didn't understand that admonition at the time. I understood that darkness was and is necessary for the star to be visible, that it is in that regard an integral part of the story. But what did it mean for a person to be the night? This was decades before the recent widespread, in certain circles, holy justice shift toward reclaiming and acknowledging the blessings of darkness. So the only way I could understand be the night, be the dark, was as an invitation to be grumpy if one couldn't be jolly, to be sullen if one couldn't be joyful, to be angry or resentful if one couldn't be loving. I had an inkling that this invitation to be what and who one is in the moment, rather than striving to achieve or pretend some expected, sparkly, brilliant seasonal gaiety, I had a sort of half understanding that this invitation was itself a not insignificant blessing proffered to a congregation, some of whom certainly could not be the star that Christmas. Still, I felt uneasy at the thought of an active, deliberate choice to turn away from all this season is supposed to be, a celebration of life, the birth of love, the joy of believing in the goodness in the heart of all. I was unsettled by what I read, but I remembered it. Fast forward through college and divinity school and 30 years of ministry and the cultural shift I mentioned toward celebrating the gifts and blessings of darkness. And I've come to understand that minister's invitation more fully and without reservation. For one thing, I've come to recognize over those same years that I cannot sleep deeply and restfully without almost complete darkness. For most, though not all of us, the quiet embrace of night creates optimal conditions for sleep. It also, though the digital revolution of 24-hour availability has changed this, night can also offer respite from the busyness and the motion and the noise of daytime, especially as we prepare for the perfect or mediocre but quite acceptable Yule, Christmas, Hanukkah. My fuller understanding of what it might mean to be the night and why we might want to be the night has also been informed by the wisdom of poets such as Barry and Rilke in this morning's readings, who teach us that the dark too blooms and sings, and that the darkness pulls everything in, gathers in all life, creating the possibility that a great presence is moving near us. If we can't be the star, glittering, dazzling, casting light upon all, we can be the night, manifesting quiet, calm, comfort in our being to such a degree that not only are we blessed by the relief of being the night, but those around us are blessed too, as they are pulled in by the gravity and the song of our holy darkness, perhaps to sense some great presence there, cradled in the embrace of our holy darkness, and offered respite there from frenetic holly jollying, even if they enjoy frenetic holly jollying most of the time. I almost didn't go to the Coastal Interfaith Green Team Solstice event at Wesley Gardens yesterday afternoon. While I told Kevin that it might be an unfinished sermon that would keep me away, the truth is the event just sounded too, well, tame for me. I mean, I have attended pagan winter solstice celebrations at which a section of the previous year's maypole was burned in the bonfire, and the drumming and singing and dancing and feasting went on for hours. I have presided over some winter solstice celebrations during which everyone was invited to dip a pine bough in a bowl full of water and gold glitter and then douse themselves with liquid light. and I've led other winter solstice celebrations at which we rang every jingle bell, hand bell, and souvenir china bell we could get our hands on in the local thrift shop to scare away the darkness, and during which we have written the things we want to leave behind in the old year and the things we want to welcome in the new year on scraps of flash paper, so that when we tossed them into the fire, they would instantly burst spectacularly into flame. How could the solitary pursuit of labyrinth walking and the contemplative practice of journaling possibly compare with glitter and flash, potluck feasting, and wild ringing and drumming? But to revel can mean both to enjoy oneself in a lively, noisy way and to take pleasure in, often quietly or privately. And yesterday I remembered that I intended all along to talk this morning about how we might revel in the darkness in these two distinct yet equally soul-satisfying and spirit-nourishing ways. One, a kinesthetic kind of revelry that the darkness evokes from us as a response to ancient fears about the disappearance of the sun, and for which the darkness also creates the perfect backdrop. The second, a quieter, more interior reveling in the pleasures that darkness brings. The first, a singing, dancing, drumming, bell-ringing, flashes of light kind of reveling in the darkness. The second, an exhaling, stretching with satisfaction, cozying in, snuggling down kind of reveling in the darkness. If I am going to preach about very different ways of reveling in the darkness, I said to myself, what can it hurt to take part in a different, quieter, more solitary kind of solstice celebration? So I put on my red tunic and I got into the car. It was a heartening 2 hours in a lovely setting among good company, including almost a dozen members of this congregation. There were no drums, no dancing, no feasting, though I did have one tender, tasty sugar cookie. No bursts of flash paper flaring wishes and releases into nothingness. And there was, quite simply, too much daylight for my taste, though it was the kind of daylight that most feeds my soul, the long golden rays of late afternoon in the days just on either side of the solstice. Despite all this, or perhaps because of it, those hours were, after all, an opportunity to revel in the nighttime of the year, if the year were 24 hours long, even though it was neither dark nor night. That was the gift that came to me from Kevin's invitation and my reluctant acceptance of it, the revelation that we can claim the blessings of darkness even in the light of day, slowing down, listening deeply for what is unseen, drawing near to kin and to kindred spirits. We talk a lot this time of year and in difficult times, such as we've had so often recently, about finding or being or making the light in the midst of darkness. That's an important skill, a holy endeavor. What an epiphany it was for me to awaken to the knowledge that the opposite might be just as important, just as holy. To find, create, or be the darkness in the midst of light, if the gifts of darkness are needed. I think my understanding of that minister's invitation to be the night came into fullness at Wesley Gardens yesterday afternoon. Be who and what you are, yes. Embody the gifts of darkness to your own benefit and the benefit of those around you, yes. And also help transform the light of the season from tinsel to holy fire by the presence of your sacred darkness. That's what makes the story whole, whatever story we're telling. The light and the dark, both sacred. The light of the star and the dark of the night. The holy light of human souls and the holy darkness of human souls. The light of day and the darkness of night. The light and the dark of earth's seasons. The shortest day and the longest night here in the Northern Hemisphere have come and gone for another year, but plenty of celestial darkness still lies before us between now and the spring equinox in March. May you revel in it with song and silence, dance and stillness, solitude and companionship, reaching out and drawing in. Amen. Our closing hymn, number 244, It Came Upon the Midnight Clear, was written by a Unitarian Universalist minister as a prayer for peace. Please rise in body or in spirit. Go forth into this holy season and all time, becoming the night and the star, the darkness and the light, as and when you are called to be. Amen.